So we have let me be looking at this outline. So, so we have technical analysis. So normally we know what's when we're talking about technical analysis, we already know what we're referring to. Now the technical analysis here is majorly analysis you are supposed to do as a trader based on price action. Because when we're talking about price action, we're trying to we're trying to follow the previous history of what happened, let's say yesterday, last week, last month, last year, or whatever, the last 4 hours. We're trying to see that we move along with the market, because the market will always play back, will always come back to respect zones that were created. If it's resistance, if it's support, the market is likely going to come back to act on those zones before maybe much later we could have new zones coming up. So that's why we say price action is simply trading, following or measuring your analysis based on what has existed in the past. So doing that is just as simple as you just using your time frame. Okay, the market started selling, because at resistance we don't buy, we sell. At support we don't sell, we buy. So we buy when the price is low and we sell when the price is high. So
So take that
by
again. Take it again. Uh,
I
at
said
resistance,
at
yeah. At
at resistance we don't buy. Possibly let me use it more professionally. At a major resistance we don't buy. We rather what look for sell opportunity. Then at a major,
resistance is the one.
okay, let me do some sketch. So this is
Resistance is
always
the floor.
okay. This is always how we
Okay,
have
no, no,
the.
no. Resistance is up.
I'm coming. This is how we have the market. So the line below here, we'll see it as a support zone,
Yeah, yeah.
and the line above here, the upper part of our chart, is normally our resistance zone. So the support zone is also, we refer to it as the buy zone, whereas the resistance zone is also referred to as the sell what zone. So and we get a concept that to buy, it's likely you are expecting the price to go higher. So to sell, you're expecting the price to go downward. So for example, if a market makes an impulse move from point A to point B, this is point A,
Yeah.
then around this upper zone, we now have a resistance here existing here. So what happens once the market moves up to this level, it will begin to react to this level. And what I want to see, we are going to see that the market will begin to pull backwards in the form of a sell. And what do we do? If we spot that this a resistance, how do you know this is a resistance? That's why I say we need price action, because we will be making use of some kind of tools to be marking the zone. We'll be working based on what has existed in the past. What was the relationship? Why did the market hit this zone and began to sell? When we watched that the market was rather selling when it got to this zone, we placed our horizontal line there to mark our resistance. When we saw that the market hits this level and it begins to push upward or buy, We now place our support zone there and do what? We take our buy. So that's what we're going to do. So remember, we're talking about technical analysis, and technical analysis is measuring on price action. On price action is simply um, trying to follow the pattern of price based on what happened in the past. So when you are following it, you don't follow it with your pen and pencil, you don't follow it with your naked eye. You have to get those tools, taking mark of those key zones. And then what happened, you are always going to watch. That says 10% of what we do in forex, 10% we buy, 10% we sell. Then the remaining is it 80% we we observe. We just be watching what happens in the market. So we don't trade forex without a setup, because if we begin to trade forex without a setup, then it becomes a game of gambling. So I don't know if forex sometimes can be gambling. I don't know that, but I believe, in my own opinion, anything that can work at least 80% of the time and be giving you profits is something that one will not call it gambling. And also, we have to know that forex is a game of skill. It's a game of skills. It's not just something that one will just um, we just walk over overnight and think that you should become a pro, because we have to look at this as the field of medicine. Before you begin to hold a surgery knife or blade, you take some good years to master it. So that is how forex is. So we are looking at price action. Then under price action, we are measuring on the key concept of support and resistance. So I have said that support is always the zone at the low zone where the market begins to move up. And then what we need to know is that the resistance is a zone where the market hits at its peak and begins to move downward. Now,
Yeah.
outside of this, if this point has been taken, if this point has been taken into consideration or taken note of, the next thing we need to know is this word. We have what we call bullish,
Yeah.
and we have what we call bearish.
Up, bearish is down.
So another word for a bullish candle what we call is what we used to call the buy candle. For the bearish is what we call the sell candle. So if you have a setup already existing, and then you observe, for example, you had spotted a particular pair that's supposed to move up, and based on your analysis, your technical analysis, you have marked your support zone. Another thing, immediately the market begins to give you sign with a bullish candle trying to move up, then you know that it's time that your analysis is beginning to come to play or come into play. The same thing with the bearish candle. So those are the key concept we use. Now, to add to price action, to add to the support and resistance, the next one we also will note is what we call the trend line. The trend line is mostly used when we have price moving in a diagonal direction. Most time price will move in a sideways direction. We don't just have the market buying like this and the market selling like this. Sometimes the market will be moving like this in a what do we call this? The market will be moving in a sideways direction. So what do we need to do this to follow this kind of market? We need what is called a trend line. So how do you draw a trend line? For example, we have an impulse move where the market is moving like this. If you can see my chart. Now,
Yeah.
since we have a move that is not moving upward like this or downward like this, but it's moving in a diagonal form or in a sideways form, what do we do? We are going to get a trend line two. They call it the trend line two. What do we do? We will always place the trend line at the end of the candle, the edge of the candle. And what do we do? We make sure we have two valid touches, the wick of the candle touching the line, two valid touches. So once we have two valid touches, that trend line becomes what? Two to three valid touches, that trend line becomes valid. So also,
Is
we, hello,
it the candle or the week?
most times it's always going to do a wick at this place.
Okay.
It's going to leave it's going to do something like price rejection here. That means the candle is not going to have body at that section. So but the main thing is making sure that at the edge of the candle or the edge of the candle, your line is capturing it. And also when you trace it, you could always have two to three valid touches, something like that. That's what I'm referring to. I hope
Okay.
so I hope you understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with this we could probably go to our next to the chat. I believe you are conversant with your MT4, right, sir?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay. So I am going to use Trading View because but maybe I'll just open the app once and then if you don't know where to locate certain tools, I'll just show you. But I
Yeah. I'm not very conversant with trading view. I always
no
get
no
confused
no
with trading.
don't bother about that. I'm not going to. I'm only using trading view for this lecture. While you are going to do your practice on MT4 app. So the only thing
Okay.
I want to do, I'm using a laptop, and the laptop I'm
Okay.
using what is called what do we call this blue stack, and the MT4 is not in a way it's not flexible,
Yeah.
so I can't really make use of it. So I'm going to switch my screen and let's see how this goes. I believe you know your currency pairs.
Yeah. USD,
Okay,
Euro.
no problem. This is GBP USD. So I want us to study or practice our support and resistance now. So
But your screen is small while you're big from here.
my screen, it
Your
looks.
the you are bigger. You are the bigger screen rather than the chart.
Are you okay with it this way?
No, it has not changed. I thought you make the charts the bigger one.
Okay, you can't see here. Can you
So I
see
thought I
now?
thought you make the chart.
No, can you see? Bro,
Okay.
I've expanded it.
Okay. I, I can see. I can see. I can see.
All right.
I can
So,
see.
so on right on the trading view, I told you I will use 30 minutes and 1 hour for you to be practicing. Then later on we do an upgrade.
But is it possible to make the trading view screen the bigger one while you become the smaller one? Is it possible?
Bigger one. I don't know how the projection is on the screen, but right now I put it on a full screen mode, so you should be seeing the
Uh,
candle. The candle should be
okay.
displayed.
I can see it. Okay.
So
You can go ahead.
if I this is on the 30 minutes, but let's use the 1 hour because we could easily spot things faster. So okay,
Yeah.
remember the concept. The upper zone is always the resistance. The low zone, which is the
Yeah.
down part, it's always the support zone. So what are we looking for here? Based on price action, we will try to relate previously to what has happened here, because we see that if we watch carefully, we'll notice that there have been a downward move at this zone. So there
Just
should be
downward move.
a downward move. There should be a reason why the market, after taking a buy to this zone, it started selling. So now by analysis, it will now tell us, and then we'll be watching. So the first two I'll pick is either you get your horizontal line too. How do you do it? You always capture the major resistance, and then the next thing you will capture the resistance too. Major resistance is always
So you make
the highest resistance on the time frame you're working on. The highest resistance on the time frame you're working on, you can see that this is the highest resistance. This is the second to the highest resistance here. So you will always capture the highest resistance. And how do you know it's a resistance zone? You always watch the behavior of price around this region. Was it buying? Was it going upward? No. After hitting here, what happened? Price began to drop. So that shows that there's a resistance here. The same thing here, when the market was around this zone, after the buy to this place, price began to what? To move backward, or we started having some sell here, moving to the downside. So that shows that what? This is a resistance, but this is a lower resistance as compared to the other one. So when you have now placed your line like this, you now be carefully watching the market to see what will happen. The first thing you do, you are going to place your resistance
your same.
line. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Are you trying to say something, sir?
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
I
I
can.
said what?
Yeah. I'm hearing you. So you make, yeah,
I can't.
make
I
your
can't.
resistance.
I can't actually
I'm
hear
saying
you, sir.
you make your resistance line two, not one.
No, because um, let's say the market, as of last week, the market was able to hit this zone. But now, this week, when the market tried to buy, it could not reach here again. It was somewhere here. So we will be noting all those um, history the market is doing, all those moves. Where it sells, we will always capture that zone. Where it buys, we will capture it. That is the work of price action. That is why these tools are there. You will always be placing it so that you will be looking forward right now when the market is playing. The next time you'll be looking forward to looking at what will price do when it gets to here. Will it break it, or will it sell? Because previously price was rather price was rather going down from this zone. It didn't what? It didn't sell. Sorry, it didn't buy, but price reacted and started moving downward. So we need to at least capture, like I said, major resistance one, and then the second resistance is enough for us based on the time frame we're working on, because we don't want to place the line everywhere. We don't want to place the line at every section of our screen, of our chart. So the next thing we're going to do now is we'll look at the down part of the chart. We're going to look at the down part of the chart. We are going to look at the down part after tracing the based on the previous history of what happened on this particular pair, GBP USD. and what happened previously on the chart. We are going to use also the next line is going to be another horizontal line. We are going to look out for areas the market was buying. So we had a buy here, we possibly had another buy here. So if we calculate between point A and point B, this is the highest level of support for now, or the lowest level which the market did drop. So this is lower than this place and this is higher than here. So what do we mean? This is our buy zone. This is also our buy zone one. This is buy zone one, buy zone two. Because if we watch, after the market did pull back or sell below, when it hits here, the market started moving upwards. So that is how we will place those lines and then watch what the market will do whenever they come to the direction where our lines are placed. So this is what we mean by support and resistance. So the next time the market is coming, now the more I shift this backward, we are going to see that here the market used here as a support previously for it to move upwards, but most times we don't refer to what is happening at the right hand side because we want to pay much attention to the current updated move of what the market is doing. We don't want to go back to something that is outdated. So we want to always be following the market accordingly. So most time we will pay attention to what is happening at the right to the right hand side, at the right hand position of the chart. We always be paying attention to what is happening in this section than what is happening at the left hand side. So now we have major resistance one, the next is resistance two, then here we have support, we also have another support, and also have another support. But I will delete this one because this one is coming from the previous zone of the market. But if I put this, we could see that the support price has been hitting it and bouncing upwards. So now, after noting the resistance, if you don't want to use the trend line to, I mean the horizontal line too, you can also use the rectangle box too. Most time we use it to help us for it to always shade those colors around. So use a rectangle tool. If I place this, if I place this, we can see that for now that's supposed to be a resistance. So this side slightly supposed to be the support zone for us. So based on what happened in the past, the highest side here is supposed to be the major resistance one, and then the lowest to this support is here. I just said it. So we capture the support zone. All right. So that is that. The next thing we are going to look at is practicing what I told you about trend line. That if the market is not moving straight like this, it's likely moving in a sideways direction. So how can we do this? To map our trend line, we'll always come over here and click on the we'll always click on this. So now, how do we know that this trend line is valid? We must have, remember, the rules is that we must have 1 to 2 touches on the trend line. That's to make our trend line valid. So how did we know? Let's say we have the wick of this candle touching the trend line. The next one we have the second candle touching here. We have another candle here touching the trend line, and we also have some candles touching the trend line. So the next thing is, how do we get the other trend line, the upper one? So we will leave it at this high point. So now we have we have one touch here, and we have another touch here. So this trend line is valid. So that's it. So that's how to draw a trend line. At the moment, Islam feeling dizzy. You were saying you had something by 3 o'clock. So I'll just do one example again. So you do your practice on your MT4. So I'm going to run this on the next app. I'm going to okay. The next one is Euro JPY. Euro JPY. I thought I've typed in Euro JPY. So this is 1 hour analysis I want to do here. So based on price action, if I screw here, I should begin to see what price was doing here. When market is moving sideways, this is how you are going to you are going to take you are going to take trades based on how it's moving. That's why I gave you that word. I call it sideways direction, but we used to call it in a ranging market. So now what I can see here, I can see that the market is what the market was on a downtrend, and also we also had some trend line here when the market was at this level. Remember, I said we are to pay much attention to the right hand, not this side. So the market did bot here, but what we want to use, we want to mark this higher, we want to mark this higher zone that is here. We want to mark this higher zone that is here. We want to mark this higher zone that is here. And so what we are likely going to do here is placing the horizontal lines here, so that in case this pair Euro JPY moves up to this place on Monday, we can be looking forward to take a sell, or be watching what it will do, if it will break it or react to it. So that is our highest resistance on the 1 hour time frame from what I'm seeing here. The next close by resistance I've been seeing the market doing is this one. This is a second resistance. So like now, when the market is not stable and is doing this, that is where you could have up to up to three zones you are marking. This is another resistance here. So because of the way the market is moving, it has been going up and down. So that becomes that's another resistance. So this is our major resistance one. Here is higher than this place, and here is higher than here. So what do we mean? We sell when the market is supposed to be high, and we buy when the market is low. So we are not supposed to be selling at this level because that is a support zone. We'll be looking at the resistance zone for a what is sell. So how do we know a resistance zone? We always follow the price, how e hit a particular place. It's unable to break that particular place to move ahead or move forward. So it starts coming down. So we note that what there's a resistance, and then we watch carefully what happens. So the next thing is the support zone. Where do we have support zone? At the bottom here we have um we have some inconsistency here. So I can just let me take the one at the bottom, or let me put it in between because I have price bouncing here. Though it was a trend line, it was trending. So and I also have price here. So we've only been we have only mapped out only one support zone. So the second support zone I can see here is around this zone because I can see that the market has been bouncing to the upside when once it hits this zone. So that is our next support zone. I hope you know how to locate these tools on the MT4, sir. Your sound is on mute.
Sorry, I did not know it was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I said I hope you
Oh,
you you know how to locate these tools I'm using. They are on MT4.
I do, I do.
Okay, no
I know
problem.
them.
So we have some sideways move here also.
Okay, okay.
So we will try to know if what we are doing is valid. So 2 to 3 touches. We want to know if the trend line is valid. So that is that. And also we note I also place this here. So there's a trend here.
So your trend line should draw up and down.
Yeah, I will in my advanced video, that's the next one. I will teach us how we can link from a previous support and trace it, connect it to a current resistance to make it valid. So that is a trend line for now because we have one touch here. These are things you are going to do on that assignment. Wherever you
All right.
discover the market is trending or is moving in a sideways direction, after drawing it, use the rectangle box to do something like this to show me that
Okay.
yes, the trend line
Okay.
is actually valid. All right. Without any other thing, I think we have been able to do one or two things.
Yeah, sure.
So this is basically the tools you need in forex. You don't need any robots. This is
The
what
okay, the trading view that you're using, is it the paid version or the free version?
I'm using free trial. So when you open TradingView, just use your Google account to activate it, and
Okay.
it's more better than the phone, because
Yeah.
you are always going to see the market clearly than what the phone is showing
The
you.
trading view, I could not really figure my way around it. But with MT4, I can figure I know my way around, but trading view I couldn't really figure.
I think with this video or this lecture, you should be able to see what I have done, where I was picking those
Okay.
tools.
Okay. You're sending me the video, right?
And yes, I might probably put it on YouTube so that it will be
Okay,
faster
cool.
for me to upload it. Yes,
Okay, cool.
yes.
That'll be fine. I'd like
Uh,
to watch it again.
all right, no problem. So I give
Okay.
you some space of time to review the video and then take
Okay.
action.
So give me assignments. So I define assignments like
That is that my your own work now is to work on not less than 10 pairs on the 1 hour
okay,
time frame. I'm using 1 hour time frame to do this analysis. So I should
okay,
believe um, we are growing upward. So there's no need
yeah.
using 30 minutes. So I have to start you up from the 1 hour time frame. So
All right.
what I'm trying to say is um, you might think you've understood or one thing, but not until when you have gone to the chat and maybe you one or two things begins to fly out. Then
No
that is
problem.
why I said I am giving you a space of time, perhaps this evening, to review the video, to revisit the video, and refresh your memory. Then by tomorrow, I will be I'll be begin to expect at least not less than 5 to 10 pairs. That is depend on your own motivation.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I was telling someone that how I was able to defeat the lower time frame was I gradually started doing analysis on the 4 hour. Gradually I started moving to the daily, and then I was doing it this year. I was doing it repeatedly until right now. I don't have problem with analyzing any pair, no matter how the pair is complex. If you just send me, please look at, within minutes I've scattered it. Doing all these things I'm doing, that's my analysis. I have linked it. So if I wanted to do more complex thing here, is trying to link other trend lines, like this is a support, and then what happened here, that the market was when the market was here, we could see that the market did we had buying momentum here, which the market did like was moving, but because from the linking I did link here, from this support to this place, I believe that when the market start moving, it doesn't move straight, so it moves and hits an obstacle like a resistance. So this thing now is something that is giving me a pullback to know that I should not pursue the market when it's because it move with one candle and the second candle to this place, and now take a buy there. Once I do the linking from the previous support to possibly a next resistance there, I'll be watching for the market to authenticate my buy. So once market breaks this level that I see as a minor or one of the resistance from here, once it breaks it, what happen? I can now place a bar here, because you can see that the time it broke out of here, price did went up, and usually it will retest, and it has been moving upward. So you can see that. So what can I do here? If I want to do another linking here again, I can now connect. I can connect the highest resistance and place it to this current resistance here and leave it there, and we can see that it's valid because the market is respecting it. So but
Yeah.
this is advanced level, so even my students, I'm yet to still, that is the video I need to do now. So This is more advanced, so it's not now we start doing this. So let's
So yeah, it's good. Yeah,
yes.
And
So
very.
hello.
I said very interesting.
Yes. So the more you do this happily with good motivation, in the next
Yeah.
1 month, you begin to be. In fact, you might even have. It might be difficult to even have time. It will be difficult for you to have time with your wife because that's the life of a trader. You are almost married to the chart. That is your
So
number one wife because
and
you want to follow the market. Is it not money you want to make? That's number one.
and
Then if you are learning too, you will need more practice to build up. So some of those things.
yeah.
So I didn't even say you will, but I'm only saying your wife will discover that what is this thing that is always you are too
So
concentrated on this thing. It's normal.
my wife is complaining that whenever I'm trading, I'm angry.
Oh,
So I'm
is your emotion and all of this ones. But don't worry. Right
okay.
now, as with more empowerment, I think things will begin to change. Yes,
Amen.
yes. This
Good.
is like someone playing game now. If you are if the market or something is against you, there's not how you are going. Your BP will be like you are having BP problem.
Exactly.
Not even when you are trying to blow a $1,000 account with the with an
And I felt like the world was coming to an end.
with an unregulated lot size or not even anything. So
Kai.
those are
The time that I really went down was when Trump came in and destabilized the whole system because I had always bet on USD
okay.
going. No, but the time that Trump came in and that time that Trump destabilized the usual trend.
Yes, even Joe Biden when he came, people were not even understanding the market again. As in January, it's gradually now the market is playing. It's in
Uh,
January market itself does not move. It's always just playing around with
exactly.
no proper move.
Yeah, I've not traded this year actually. I've not traded this year.
Yes,
It was like September last year that I stopped. In September, October.
it's all right,
Okay.
sir. So since
Okay, but
I will be uploading the video, so I will want to keep it a little bit shortened. So
okay.
I'll send you the link as soon as that is done.
I appreciate that. Okay.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir. Yes, sir.